Welcome, Westover family. I'm Technical Sergeant Kyle King from WNN, and this is your Channel 50 News. Ladies and gentlemen, we are right smack in the middle of autumn. The leaves are changing, the apples are dropping, and this UTA weekend we're going to have a mini Oktoberfest right here on Westover. The Galaxy Community Council will be holding the Oktoberfest event this Saturday, October 14th, from 1700 until 2300 at the base club. This event will include a DJ, games, German fare, grilled food, soda, beer, and most importantly, all the schnitzel you can eat. It's free admission for reservists on UTA status and $13 for all others. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there too. And some unfortunate news, since the base club has transitioned to the new Member Planet card, membership has dropped significantly. I know when compared to most active duty bases, Westover seems like it might not have much, but you'd be hard pressed to find another reserve base that has an outdoor recreation center, a base exchange, base club, shopette, and a bowling alley. In fact, we're the only reserve base that has a bowling alley, but let's not take these assets for granted. Please consider signing up for a card so we can keep what we have for the young generation of airmen in front of us. And if you need any assistance signing up or transferring to the new card, the club manager, Erin Lagaris, is more than happy to help. She's a lovely woman. She can be reached at 557-2039, extension 103, or at erin.lagaris@us.af.mil. Exciting news out at the base of Lips. Your Westover legacy could live forever. For more on this, we have Tech Sergeant Wynn live on the scene. Sergeant Wynn, what's the scoop?
Thank you, Sergeant King. I am here by the James Street Gate at the brand new Heritage Park with a member of the Chiefs Council who is in charge of organizing all of this. Good afternoon, Chief Hebert.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Thanks for coming out today. Could you just give us a little explanation about what's going on here?
Okay, so it all started probably about close to 7 or 8 years ago. Retired Chief Cullum, we came up with this proposal. We tried to come up with projects for the Chiefs Council to kind of expand the heritage of Westover and something for everybody to visit. And we had a lot of area next to this memorial there was nothing here. So we came up with the idea, or tabled an idea, of having a heritage park. It was then called the Memorial Park, to have bricks and dedicate bricks to certain individuals, either in retirement or if they work at Westover. And it was a sort of a fundraiser to pay for itself. You could purchase the bricks. Either a red brick is a $50. It costs you $50 to get it engraved, and then the gray bricks, which go inside the symbols, are actually a $100 brick donation. So, and then that allows us to pay for the brick, to pay for the engraving, to raise money to keep this thing going, and to honor anybody that's had anything to do with Westover's heritage. So it started off as the Memorial Park, but we changed it to the Heritage Park because some of these folks, and most of them, the bricks that are on here, are people that are still living. So it's not so much to memorialize them, it's to kind of show Westover's heritage and who worked here and when, and if they're still here. So if you have anything to do with Westover, if you worked here in a civilian capacity or a reserve capacity, you're eligible to submit to have a brick on your behalf or a family member's behalf if they worked here at Westover. We have certain forms you fill out and you submit it to the Chiefs Council. Any chief that's on the council, you can get the form from. Each of the 4 groups that make up the wing were asked if they would be interested in donating to get park benches out here. So they all agreed to do that. So now we're in the middle of CE has kindly used their folks to dig and put the forms down. We'll fill the forms in with cement, and we already purchased the park benches to go on, the granite park benches, and then we'll have some sort of placard from each of the wings donation, just telling who donated the park bench. We use the money for anything that goes back to the airmen on Westover. So it could be for anything. We use it for scholarships. Any funds that we have coming in, we have a yearly scholarships that we give out, and it's for anything else that we need to donate to any cause on base. So it also helps help us rebuy the bricks and keep that going. But most of the money is used for other things on base and it has to be for airmen on the base.
Excellent. I think I just came up with an idea. I don't want to claim credit for it, but I'm thinking about who I would put on there or what I would purchase a brick for. I know of a couple folks that are retiring soon. That sounds like a decent retirement gift to get your name put in this nice heritage park. But I just wanted to thank you for your time, Chief, and we'll see you around. Maybe we'll come back when those benches get put in.
Right, it should be shortly. We're hoping to have that done by the end of October.
Awesome. Thanks. That's all I got from here at the new Heritage Park by the James Street Gate. Back to you in the studio, Tech Sergeant King.
Thank you, Sergeant Wynn. And finally, to end the broadcast on a somber note, September was Suicide Prevention Month, and even though we neglected to mention it in last month's broadcast, the Air Force is consistently practicing preventative measures and also teaching airmen how to recognize the signs of someone who could be at risk. One such method is the ACE method, which stands for Ask, Care, Escort. These 3 steps can guide airmen when confronted with someone contemplating suicide. The Air Force Suicide Prevention website has more information on ACE and other resources to help prevent and respond to suicide. The website is www.af.mil/suicide prevention. Well, that does it for this month's broadcast. I'm Tech Sergeant King for WNN, reminding you not to drink pumpkin beer and thanking you for tuning in. Off I go into the wild blue yonder. We'll see you next month.
Westover didn't have any trouble getting more than 50 volunteers to fly down to Homestead Air Reserve Base in Florida to help in the relief efforts from the damaging winds and rain of Hurricane Irma. These reserve citizen airmen from the 58th and 42nd Aerial Support Squadrons and a few other career fields flew down on September 11th to help in loading and unloading of FEMA equipment and supplies.
The 58th got tasked with this morning. We were getting ready to support by sending out members of the 42nd. And then the 58th was asked to provide supplemental bodies to augment the force going down to Homestead.
Homestead will be used as a staging base and hub for the FEMA relief effort. They had only hours to prepare and get packed for the mission, but they came through, some in the nick of time. Before leaving, they were given a briefing on what to expect, safety precautions, and a pep talk from the Reserve's 439th Airlift Wing Commander, Colonel D. Scott Durham.
Thanks for stepping up and volunteering. Appreciate it. They definitely need the help, and this may take a while. Just looking at some of the airflow they have, anticipating going in there, it's going to be, Florida, the Panhandle, the surrounding areas, and the islands. I guess got swacked pretty good. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of FEMA stuff flowing in and out. So you get to exercise plenty of your skills down there. So again, thanks for stepping up.
Our mission right now would be to reopen the aerial port down at Homestead to get operations back up and running and to make sure that the FEMA support and other cargo missions get through. We're basically setting up an aerial port from scratch. We got 12 from the 58th, mostly from the annual tour team that was already here. And we've got 4 members coming from the outside. 42nd is sending 17 members. And a lot of them are folks, I'm noticing that almost all of us have just come back from Kuwait in February. So a lot of deployers, so a lot of experience going down right off the bat.
Some of the challenges we're expecting, certainly the conditions from after the storm, lack of power, standing water, the snakes, alligators, potential structural damage on some of the buildings, so all the things you would expect after a hurricane. We trained for this exact situation many times, and today we didn't even have the normal notice, so it was just so short-cycled that people were able to respond. So it shows all those training sessions that we did in the past, all the effort we put in, it worked, it paid off because we're getting out the door. In some cases, folks only had 2 or 3 hours notice and we're getting out. We're going to get down there and they just turned the lights on at the airfield, so we're going to land and do a quick walkthrough and see what's available for facilities and then we're going to go ahead and just, if anything needs to be cleared, we're going to clear it, but we're going to get ready to receive follow-on forces, which will be coming in further flight. So we'll be ready with our MHE to do those downloads.
And keeping with a long-standing military tradition, they got a chance to hurry up and wait as they were taken to the C-5M loaner aircraft from Travis Air Force Base, which was flown by a Westover crew from the 337th Airlift Squadron. In record-breaking time, the C-5 and the air crew from the 337th Airlift Squadron readied, loaded, and got the reservist passengers buckled in safe and sound, and at 6:35 p.m., the Super Galaxy lifted into the air and headed south. In the long Westover tradition of always stepping forward and volunteering when needed, the Reserve Citizen Airmen of Westover are once again doing their part in helping fellow Americans in need.
There's been a little bit of stress with employers and with families because of the short notice, but I think that people understand how important our mission is and what we're going to help people who need our assistance. So people realize what we do is important, and there's no real big issues.
It's tough with the school year starting, and my son is special needs, he's autistic, so when I come in the door and let him know I've got to go short tasking, it's always going to be a little traumatic for him, but he's a trooper, he bears up pretty good. When I told him today, when I ran into the house to pack my bag, he just said, "Dad, what do you got to do?" And I said, "Well, son, we're going down to Florida to help people that they're in a bad way from the storm right now." And he said, "Okay, Dad." And I guess I'm the man of the house. Why are you going? I said, "Yeah, buddy, you're the man of the house."
That's all.
And then there were none. With little fanfare, the era of the A-model C-5 came to an end on September 7th. The last C-5A, tail number 461, took to the sky from Westover Air Reserve Base in Massachusetts. This would be the last time the Pioneer Valley or the rest of the world would hear the distinctive scream of the A-model's 4 TF-39 engines on takeoff. 461 was built in 1970, and this year marks its 47th year in service, seeing the end of the Vietnam War through today's more recent conflicts, transporting hundreds of thousands of troops and supplies over the years for the war efforts and humanitarian aid missions. 461 landed later that day at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, Arizona, where it will be retired and used for spare parts.
To make sure our people get training, the time, and the resources to make sure that we're able to fly all our missions around the world. So what I would say in the mission statement, what we would do is we would coordinate with multiple agencies across the Air Force and Air Force Reserve Command to make sure that we have the appropriate resources at the appropriate time. What does the wing mission and vision statement mean to me? Well, as the chief and superintendent of the maintenance squadron for the 439th Maintenance Wing, what I'm primarily tasked with is making sure that my airmen have the training, the tools, and the time required to make sure that the C-5 meets its mission requirements, whether we're supporting military members downrange or humanitarian missions. What we always have to do is make sure we're ready, and part of being ready is, again, having the tools and training and time necessary to complete the mission. As a vision statement would go, I would say that in today's new technologically advanced military, we're having to do more with less because there is a need for us to be able to do that, so we can provide a financially and fiscally responsible product to the consumer, which is the American citizen. And in so doing that, what we have to do is take all available resources, think differently about how we use those resources, and use them to maximize all our airmen's abilities to the furthest extent possible. So when it says we have to be a leading edge capabilities, we really have to be pushing that envelope in today's environment.
As Hurricane Irma's furious momentum ravaged parts of the Caribbean islands, September 8th, reservists with Westover's 2 aerial port squadrons led the Patriot Wing's response to the huge storm. More than 20 reserve citizen airmen with the 58th and 42nd Aerial Port Squadrons answered the September 8th tasking from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The reservists loaded more than 120 tons of FEMA supplies aboard 3 C-17 Globemaster IIIs. The C-17s began arriving at Westover early in the morning on September 9th. All 3 aircraft, which left Westover early September 10th, were scheduled to airlift the FEMA supplies to San Juan, Puerto Rico. The 3rd C-17, ready for loading as darkness fell on the Westover flight line September 9th, backdropped a spectacle as local news media and base public affairs cameras rolled. FEMA vehicles and trailers streamed out of Hangar 3 and formed a procession of flashing lights as drivers made their way across Westover's spacious flight line. C-17 loadmasters, aerial porters, and FEMA officials huddled under the towering tail of the aircraft to discuss final loading preparations. They eventually unloaded 50,000 pounds of cargo, which included a FEMA fuel truck and various supplies. Tech Sergeant Peter Alicia Correa, 42nd APS Aircraft Services Supervisor, was among the first of the aerial porters to coordinate the major FEMA tasking. He credited the performance of his fellow airmen amid the sudden and major FEMA tasking. Senior Airman Alex Church was very helpful on the flight line and worked extremely hard, Alicia Correa said. Church, who lives in Westfield, Mass., is assigned to the 42nd's sister squadron, the 58th APS. He offered his time to explain the aerial port mission during a media interview by the flight line. Besides the aerial port squadrons, FEMA also coordinated efforts with Westover's Emergency Management Director, Robert Peralt, whose staff is already well-versed in FEMA operations since Westover is designated a FEMA staging area. And Senior Master Sergeant Charles Carlin, Superintendent of the Base Installation Deployment Readiness Cell, coordinated initial taskings with various base agencies from FEMA and the Air Force's Northern Command September 9th. Our airmen make amazing things happen when using aircraft and equipment to do their jobs, said Colonel D. Scott Durham, 439th Airlift Wing Commander. These airmen are proud to serve as a total force lifeline to those in need. While the aerial porters didn't deploy with the C-17s, these reserve citizen airmen are ready for any further direction from the federal government. As of September 11th, Hurricane Irma was a Category 11 storm.
I'm Senior Airman Monica Ritchie, and I am here on the flight line at Homestead Air Reserve Base with multiple reserve citizen airmen from around the country. We're supporting Hurricane Irma relief efforts. So when we first got here, of course, it was a change in weather. It was hot and humid. There was no power. Thankfully, that has been restored. It's coming back slowly. As far as our relief efforts go, we've had cargo and troops coming in and out from all over the country, all Air Force Reserve bases, and it's a good thing to see some familiar faces around here from Westover.
I started my adventure in the Air Force Reserve as a payload system operator.
Flight medic in the Air Force Reserve.
I'm a pilot for the Air Force Thunderbirds demonstration.
We do a lot in a little bit of time, and we have to do it very efficiently.
It's a very exciting career.
The Reserve gave me the opportunity to learn something totally different from what I did.
The training in the Air Force Reserve is second to none.
The most exciting thing in the Air Force Reserve is to be able to travel.
It gave me the opportunity to go to college. That was definitely a bonus.
And the Air Force Reserve gave me all those opportunities, and then even more.
Start your adventure in the Air Force Reserve.
The Westover Key Spouses teamed with the Airmen and Family Readiness Center August 5th to hold a Key Spouses barbecue. A cooperative New England summer climate highlighted the after-hours event with a beautiful evening backdropping conversations and tasty food served up near the base ellipse. Colonel D. Scott Bull Durham, 439th Airlift Wing Commander, addressed the volunteers for their efforts in supporting the Wing's reservists and introduced his wife Jennifer, who's also a Key Spouse mentor.
Thanks for putting this on. I appreciate that. I know many of you don't know me. I'm the new wing commander here. Everybody calls me Bull. So this is my wife Jennifer. You're not going to find a bigger supporter of the Key Spouse program than Jennifer. She's a firm believer in the program, and she's made me one as well over the last few years down at Base X. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for your support in the program, making it what it is here. I think it's a great organization. You guys have done a lot of work. And you're going to hear me like a broken record, talking to the commanders about it, talking to the first sergeants about it. It's an important program, and I think that it only benefits our reserve members, especially those members that deploy a lot. So that communication channel is key back to leadership. And the Key Spouses really serve a great purpose. I mean, we simply can't pay people to do what you do. So thank you very much, and thanks for having us out. It's good eats. Appreciate it.
Amy Croy, wife of Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Croy, 439th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, spoke about the connection that Key Spouses make with the Patriot Wing's reservists.
It gives you a set of family that understands what you go through on a daily basis, not just during deployments, it's the day-to-day military world. So at any given day, at any given time, even though he's a reservist, he could be called out the door. And I know I have a family that is there to support me and is there when I need them. Even when he's stateside, if something happens, major life events, I have a group of people that I can call on to help me and support me.
The evening was an opportunity for first sergeants in the wing to talk with Key Spouses as well. Shanna King, Airmen and Family Readiness Center Director, told the Westover News Network that this barbecue created a relaxing opportunity for bonding within the Patriot Wing's leadership and family.
Just to get the Key Spouses together with their first sergeants. Of course, anybody who's a Key Spouse, their wife or husband was here, so we have some command staff as well. So it's just a nice, unstructured way to get them to mingle and kind of get to know each other, since of course we're only here 1 weekend a month. Key Spouses are just that conduit between the base and the military way and the family members. And so they're able to kind of translate military speak, if you say. So if the spouse isn't talking military at home, but then they have to know all this stuff, the Key Spouse can say, this is what this really means and this is what's going on, and kind of give that information in a non-threatening way.
Anyone with questions should contact Ms. King and her staff about the Key Spouses program. Family Readiness is located on the base ellipse near the flagpole. Any questions can also be directed to Unit First Sergeants here with the 439th Airlift Wing. This is Master Sergeant Andrew Biscoe reporting.
For me personally, I'm a very small part to that mission and vision statement. My job is to ensure that our maintainers have everything they need, all the tools they need to get that mission done. So it's my job to make sure they have the training, they have the equipment, they have the tools, they have the right time to be able to dedicate to getting the mission out. And obviously in the ISODOC, we not only deal with Westover airplanes, we deal with every C5 in the fleet to think about the big picture, and we have to make sure that our maintainers understand where they fit in the big picture. And for us, it's making sure that we get C5s available to home stations to send out into the fight.
It's not uncommon to see much smaller cargo planes than the seemingly elephant-sized C5M circling the flight pattern from around the base. Manned with 4 propellers, the old-style birds fly low. Dropping cargo at Westover is practice for both the air crews and the air transportation specialists who recover the pallets dropped from the sky. A Connecticut aircrew piloting a C-130 Hercules from Bradley Air National Guard Base East Granby practiced touch-and-go landings July 11th on the runway. Following their landing, the C-130 taxied over to the dog patch, where the aircrew practiced doing combat-style offloads with 2 cargo pallets. This was the first of many times Bradley's airmen will be practicing combat offloads here. In fact, Bradley airmen will be using Westover as a practice station much more frequently, doing airdrops both during the day and at night, as well as beginning to perform combat-style offloads several times a week. After dropping cargo pallets in flight or offloading them from the runway, Bradley's team of air transportation specialists recover the cargo. Directed by Senior Airman Key Sherman of the 103rd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Shannon Carney operated a forklift borrowed from Westover's aerial port to lift the cargo and load it onto the back of a flatbed truck to be driven back to Bradley. Their job was finished quickly and efficiently as the C-130 taxied away and prepared for takeoff. This practice was an excellent example of joint operations and cooperation between Westover and Bradley, who are working together to accomplish the mission of the total force.
The way that I see it is that we should be focused on equipping the total force with the best airmen the AFRC has to offer. I think that in order to be mission ready, we should be taking the steps now to assess what needs to be done in the future so that when leadership says, hey, we need some volunteers, is there anyone who can do this? I'll be able to say, I've been ready for months, send me. And I'm in personnel, I do a lot of mission support work, so it's my job to make sure that everyone has got their paperwork, they know where they're going. When we're deployed overseas, we're going to do a lot of accountability. Now that's a big deal, that's important to the mission, because if we don't know our overall strength, well, of course there's going to be problems. You know, if we don't have our EPRs all together, there's going to be problems, as I've seen. Well, I'm a 3SO51, I'm a personnel journeyman for now, doing my CDCs, getting all that taken care of, and I've enjoyed it so far. Leadership has been really good to me. Leadership has treated me with respect and dignity, and I really see that as a reflection of the leadership at this base. I feel welcome, I feel supported, and if I have a question, there's someone that'll be able to answer it for me. And I think that leadership has just done a good job of, making sure that, whether you're an airman basic or a colonel, you're integral to the mission here.
Hi, my name is Tamara Thompson. I'm the Sexual Assault Response Coordinator here at Westover. You can come and ask questions relating to sexual assault. Everything that you say to me is confidential, except for if you tell me you're going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, then I'm obligated, because I'm licensed, to make sure that you're safe or anybody else is safe. Right now, the office is open from 8 to 4:30. But we have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week hotline that you can always call, and that number is 413-687-3543. And you can always call the office number, and that number is 557-7272.
My name is Wilbert Guilford. I'm the personal financial counselor here at Westover Air Force Base and also at Barnes Air National Guard. I'm certified public accountant, and a certified financial planner. And I'm here at Westover to help military members and their families with any type of financial matter, whether it's the thrift savings plan, the blended retirement system, taxes, investments, anything to do with money. Give me a call and I can meet you at your convenience. My phone number is 480-403-1086. I'm at Westover on Thursdays. I'm at Barnes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but I'm available anytime you need me.
So hi, I'm Shanna King. I'm the director of the Airman Family Readiness Center. We are located in building 1100 off of Walker Avenue on the base. The things that we do kind of vary. We're your main information and referral source for the base. We also help with resumes, finances. We're in charge of the transition assistance program, so if you're on orders for more than 180 days, you definitely have to come see us. We also house the Key Spouse program, so if you're deploying or going to be on extended TDY, we can keep in contact with your family members, so not just spouses, but significant others, moms, dads, grandmas, whomever. So those are some different things that we do for our deployers and our folks on extended TDY. We also throw the Children's Holiday Party, which is our favorite thing to do all year. We do things for the Month of Military Child and also Spouse Appreciation Month. Really, if there's anything you need on base and you don't know where to go, please just give us a call or stop by, and we can help you with that.
Certainly, being a younger NCO, I feel like I'm kind of the middle child at this point. I'm not yet the one running the show, but I'm certainly not the guy who doesn't get to be dirty. So at this point, I'm kind of being the one in the middle, ensuring that there's people coming aboard that are ready to get their hands dirty and that are ready to take over, fill my shoes so that I can go on to be the guy in charge. It feels good. The reward doesn't come while you're fixing the plane. You might hate your life at that point. It's hotter than even in this room right now.
Yes.
But when you're out there, but when you do see it take off, and you get the time to think about it, it's up there because of you, and things are getting where they need to go. And it's not always just resources, but you could be that MRAP that's protecting our forces, and you could be bringing that unit home to their families. So.
Hi, my name is Zach McAllister, and I'm just here to share a few details on the relaunch of the Get One Now peer referral program for you. The Get One Now program is the program that reservists can use to refer someone for the Air Force Reserve who's not currently enlisted or who might be prior service. And there's a few new items attached to the relaunch of the program that we just want to make everyone aware of. Firstly, in the past, the Get One Now program was awarding reservists who gave leads into the program who assessed to the Air Force Reserve. One of the new items is with the relaunch of the program, we're now awarding reservists who simply give leads that are qualified into the program. So you can get an award now for one qualified lead, and it's one award for one qualified lead, and you can get up to 4 awards per FY, so 4 awards per year. Everything is done now through an app that you can use on your cell phone. It's the Get One Now app. All you need to do is go to either the Google Play Store or the Android or the iPhone iOS store. Open up that app and type in Get One Now. The app will pop right up, and once you download it, you can register there on the app. You can submit leads using the app. You can track the status of those leads as well as pick and order awards right there from the app. We've done everything we can to make it as simple as possible. You'll see a bunch of different prize options right there in the app that you can choose from. We want everyone to be aware that this program is available to them because you can get an award for referring someone. The person that you refer gets all the benefits of the Air Force Reserve if they end up joining, as well as the Air Force Reserve as a whole benefits from the people that you know would be a good fit for the Air Force Reserve. So go to the Android or iOS store, download this app. You can also use the desktop version to engage in the program. The website for that is getOneNow.us. So please go register for an account. If you know someone now who you know would be a good fit for the Air Force Reserve, please use this program to refer them. If not, just register, get the app on your phone because you never know when you might come across someone that would be a good fit for us here, and we want everyone to be ready for that. So thank you for engaging in the program, and visit getOneNow.us for any more info that you might need. We appreciate your time. Thank you.